So this is a mechanism of a robot playing a marimba which I built just using only local materials. I have built a few projects of robots playing different musical instruments. My first project was a violin mechanism which was driven by my passion for violins. So the idea of the marimba robot kind of came from a comment on one of my TikTok videos. And as someone who loved mechanical design challenges, I was so intrigued by the idea, despite not having the right materials or let's say the right tools. But I didn't allow that to stop me from working on the project. I'm excited to share with you the journey of building this mechanism, including the improvisation I made and the lesson I learned along the way, all while working with less than ideal materials. When I saw the comment, I kind of freaked out. I was like, what kind of musical instrument is a marimba? But when I googled it, it turns out there was nothing to worry about. So a marimba is just like a xylophone that is also played with mallets. What makes them different is the kind of sound they produce. So here's what a marimba sounds like. Sounds familiar, right? If you know where this sound is from, you can leave it in the comments. Before I start working on any project, I usually design the drawing plan for the project. I don't have a laptop, so I use traditional pen and paper instead of 3D modeling softwares like Blender. So I kind of designed the movement of the robot based on the principle of an oscillating standing fan. So next is the hardest part of the project, finding the materials from scraps. I usually use plastic to build my project. Finding the right gear for the project can be a little bit tricky. I'll be using a bev gear and a spur gear because they allow transmission between 90 degrees, which is essential for the drawing plan design I drew for the mechanism. I'll also be using a motor with a worm gear so that it will slow down the speed of the mechanism. After I got the part I needed, I began cutting the plastic for the base of the mechanism. After I'm done cutting the base, what I want to do is to put a hole in them. I don't have a hand gear, so I use flames from candle. So this hole is where I'll be placing the belt gear, and after that I'll be placing the spur gear on top it to be able to drive it. The shaft at each end of the spur gear will control the hands, and while the shaft connected to the belt gear will control the waist. Then I place the motor with the worm gear on top the spur gear. The arrangement is done in such a way that the motor will rotate the spur gear and the belt gear at the same time. You can notice the way they are moving slowly. This is because of the worm gear on the motor. So this is how the mechanism looks like when I'm done. You can notice the way the mechanism moves back and front just like a standing fan. If you want to learn more about how oscillating fans work, you can check out Gerard Owen's channel. He did a detailed video on the topic. So next, I built the body of the robot using black and yellow plastic. Although yellow isn't my favorite color, but I just love black and yellow combination. I connected the body to the up part of the mechanism and the hands to each shaft of the spur gear. You can see how they are connected just like a crank mechanism. So I kind of run out of yellow plastic, so I built the leg with blue plastic instead. So the legs are connected to the down part of the mechanism, or you can say the waist, which is controlled by the belt gear. So I'm done with the robot mechanism. Now for the marimba. Since it's just a mimicking mechanism, there was no need to build a working marimba. So I just built the tube using biro plastic, which I wrapped with paper. And finally, I glued the mechanism and the marimba on a flat base. I'm really glad the mechanism turned out perfect. You can see the way it moves back and front while playing the marimba. And if I disconnect this shaft connecting the belt gear and the waist, the mechanism will remain in one position playing the marimba. I actually really enjoyed working on this project and I'm really glad it turned out perfectly even though I used improper materials and tools. So if you want to see more projects like this, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell.